When the pod launchers were introduced, I was curious about using them defensively rather than offensively. And when I was doing my little Wanderlust update video, I went around and just killed a few people. And I had mentioned that I was curious about using them to carpet an area with artillery shells and then using a chain reaction just to blow everything up. And that kind of got me thinking about alternative ammunition. So I'm here in my little object testing arena. I've built myself a small yet functional base. I do wish I built more of the transport pods, but we'll see. This is just for proof of concept, really. I'm gonna see about using some alternative ammo and just make the life of a sieger as miserable as possible. Way back in the day, there used to be fear tech that you could use to sort of do that to attackers, but that was since removed because it was, well, it was a little unbalanced. So, so we'll see if we can sort of improvise then. So we got corpses, chunks, and then smoke leaf. I don't think they'll smoke the smoke leaf if we shoot it, but if they do, then cool, because that's an easy thing to get. So then you can just like send them smoke leaf, make them a little bit miserable. They'll smoke up, the consciousness will go down, their accuracy will go down. You can just send down a small strike squad and take them out really quickly. But I don't think they'll smoke it, but we'll find out. But on the bottom left corner, we have the siegers. They're still getting set up. They won't be too much longer though. It is covered in concrete. It is an outdoor environment. The concrete is as ugly as soil, so it's, for all intents and purposes, the same. I mean, there's going to be like trees and stuff and in the real world, but I'm going to be making the place so ugly it won't really matter much anyway. Proof of concept again, as is anything I do in this little arena thing. So we'll go ahead and launch group of 4. And we'll shoot out some of the smoke leaf. Again, I don't think they'll smoke it. We'll throw on 10. They're pretty lightweight. We'll throw on, I'd like to do all the chunks, but then I can't do any of the corpses, so we'll do like 15 and then just throw out 3 should be okay. We'll do that. So 15 chunks, 3 corpses, one of them skeleton, the other 2 just simply rotting. And then the smoke leaf joints should be okay. They'll load that, and then I'll launch it as soon as I can. We'll select our colony, and then we'll head all the way down here. And in the middle of everything. And there we go. Not the reinforcements they were expecting. And now the people with weak resolves should break. Observing a rotting corpse auto stack. I think it stacks and it gets to -10. So yeah, -9. And then when they finally catch a glimpse of the other one, they'll be like, oh god, another corpse, and -10. And then that mixed in with just the ugliness that there is here. It'll maybe possibly break some of them. Perhaps, and then, I mean, best case scenario, a few of them break because you'll have like brawler with ranged weapons. They'll be eating outside, sleeping on the floor, eating without tables. It'll be a little cold. So hopefully after like a day or so, they'll break and they do a little bit of infighting. So we'll just sit here and wait for a bit and we'll see what happens. I think I might need to throw a lot more chunks at them though. I've thrown down a few more corpses. I'm not sure what he's firing at. I think they might be firing at like the outer wall that I've got. I've thrown down a few more corpses just to sort of emphasize the ugliness here. Corpses absolutely being loads worse than chunks, and also pretty easy to get after a little while to sort of create a little stockpile. Maybe even freeze the bodies, because fresh corpses should be just as bad, maybe? Oh, rotting corpse, I don't know. I mean, you can create a freezer and you can put a bunch of corpses in there and just launch them out when ready, but otherwise let them rot for a bit. Skeletons work just fine, so no problem there. Just make sure you keep it locked away from the colonists, but they don't seem to mind too terribly the really ugliness of this area, which is kinda interesting. I mean, is it not ugly enough? I don't know. Maybe we need to make it even uglier. few more corpses. Interestingly though, colonist corpses are slightly uglier. Minus 150 beauty, but minus one. Oh, probably the blood beneath them. Ah, yes. That makes sense. So the blood shouldn't be there, but that's okay. It's minus 13-ish now. Observed corpse, observed rotting corpse. Ah. Okay, so throwing a mix of fresh and deteriorated will do a pretty good job, but I don't think they're going to be getting the hideous environment moodlet that my miners so often get. But that's okay. We'll wait a bit and see if they break. It's been a night of bombardment, so you will have had to defend yourself a little bit from the artillery strikes, but it's not so bad, I suppose. I mean, eventually you get giant things that are like this, and they've got just so many snipers that it's really difficult to try to bring them down just by striking first. So, alternative tactic for those types of scenarios, I suppose. Minus 15.8 beauty. God, that's horrible. But they're seeing the corpses, rotting corpses, standard corpses. They ate on the floor outside. They'll be sleeping outside in the cold. They'll be out at dark. Some of them are brawlers with ranged weapons. Some of them are naked and cold. So eventually they should break. But it's a little bit of RNG. So... Worst case, this doesn't work out. I have an alternative that should work better if I can get the timing right of it. I don't know precisely how to set it up, but I'll figure it out. I think the problem with this primarily is that I don't think attackers can soft break. Like, the only break they can do, honestly, I don't even know if they can do extreme breaks as siegers. That might be just entirely disabled, so their mood's completely independent. I mean, I've had attackers once, they started doing a little bit of infighting just from an argument that broke out, and that was kind of funny, but otherwise, I don't know for certain, to be honest. I mean, certainly soft breaks, probably not. I mean, food and alcohol binges, I don't think so. And hiding in their room, they don't have a room, so I don't think soft breaks would work. So it'd have to be the hard breaks, which would just be them going berserk. Which, I don't know if that happens to siegers. But if it does, it's hard as hell to make happen, because these guys, oh, they come in not expecting much, and that's really what'll do it. It's been maybe a couple days, perhaps not quite, but no sign of them really breaking. They're too simple. They don't have enough needs, so making them break, if they even can break, extremely difficult to do. You would certainly need to be doing a lot better than this. That amount of, yeah, they're attacking now. That amount of corpses is just not enough. So, yeah, that's a big fail, but like I said, I do have an alternative that should work a lot better. Oh no, Kurt, get out of there. Oh my god, the corpses. And some of my art too. Bastards. Yeah, they did more than I thought they would. When I saw them attacking the walls, I didn't expect them to do very much, but yeah, you'd be much better off just bombarding them. Maybe in conjunction with this if you bombard them. But then you'd be destroying some of the stuff that you shot over there. I mean, if you have enough artillery shells, you could just carpet bomb the area with them and then just chain reaction and be done with it, I guess. I think that's probably the more reliable way to do it. But let's keep trying. I got something else in mind. Not only can you throw colonists and items, but also animals. So I've got a bunch of boom rats and boom lopes that are trained for obedience and release set up all on Mini. And then Mini will, I think, should we release animals and then launch the boom rats? I don't know. See, that's what I'm not sure on. So we'll find out. We'll throw probably all the boom rats because they're pretty lightweight, only 14 kilograms, and then the boom lopes. Just over. We'll drop a boom rat. There we go. And we'll shoot them right in the middle of everything. Select mini. And we'll just release animals now, and they should just freely do their own thing. Kinda, sort of. That kinda worked. The chain reaction was quite nice. That completely decimated them and they ran out of there. Let's try that again. So this time I've only got 4 boom loops, but I've also got artillery shells. So we'll try that. The issue with the mortar shells is I feel like they're all just gonna stack up because they're in 2 stacks here, so they'll be loaded as stacks. Then when they get launched, they'll be launched as stacks, then they'll land as stacks, and they'll pop out as stacks. So we don't really have a nice spread. But that might not be too much of a problem, and there's not really a good way to sort that, unfortunately, but we'll try that. We'll just wake up and reset everybody here so we get the loading done and release ahead of time. Let's see, for the most part it looked like they just killed the boom lobe straight away. Releasing ahead of time seems to have worked okay, but they didn't actually kill any of the boomalopes. They just knocked them all down. They'll bleed out eventually, but god damn it, that's annoying. They're using our mortar shells. Assholes. Well, yeah, they'll bleed out. I guess some boom rats would be good because the boom rats would very likely just straight up die. Boom lopes are, yeah, oh yeah, he'll be dead soon. Oh yeah, only 4.6 hours, we can wait it out. The boom rats literally should just die and blow up right away, and that might be enough to get a chain reaction starting. But the artillery shells did indeed stack. I don't know if we're in range, but will it matter? I don't know. That wasn't that bad. The shells are on fire, the other ones are on fire. Will they put out the fire in time? Will it matter? Death in 2 hours. They're not actually extinguishing the boom lopes. Aw. They don't extinguish the boom lopes, it looks like. They'll extinguish everything else. But because they don't extinguish the boom lopes, their fate's basically sealed. There we go. Next. It's a very slow death. This isn't quite as sudden as the last one, but last time we had a lot of boomalopes and boom rats. Probably more than you'd likely get on most playthroughs. Then again, I don't know. Once you start getting... There we go. Now they're assaulting. Once you start getting a few boom rats from a trader, you tend to accumulate them fairly quickly. So I don't know, this might not be too reasonable after a couple years. This might be somewhat valid. Let's do it with just boom rats and artillery shells. The 10 boom rats. And mortar shells. Everybody wake up! Go, go, go! I mean, alternatively, if you have a lot of boom rats, you could probably just set the animal zone as such that they just run right into the middle of the siegers. You just allowed animal zone here, and they just, oh, okay, and they follow orders, but I feel like they'd probably pick them off, so you'd have to have a lot of them, or you'd have to have, like, I was gonna say an elephant leading the charge, but to do that, you'd have to send the elephant down, let it get most of the way, and then because the boom rats are so quick, you'd have to, when the elephant gets close enough, then set the boom rats to be the, in that allowed zone, and then the elephant will go, they'll latch onto the elephant, fight the elephant, elemental tank and absorb a lot of the blows while the boom rats rush in. And that probably work just as well. But I feel like if you have that many boom rats and elephants and all that, that you're willing to just sacrifice them for the sake of the siege, you've probably already got the tech to launch pods anyway. But, you know, who am I to judge? So we'll send the boom rats and artillery shells down and see if they fare a little bit better. Because the boom lopes, it did work, but they're just too damned healthy. They didn't blow up immediately. Boom rats, I forgot to release. Oh, right, because they don't exist right now. Fair enough, I suppose. Again, will it matter? I don't know, it's just a lot area, animal area 1. What? It's already set? Gross. Okay, well, new animal area then. Area 2. Right here. There. Just yeah, because Minnie's still drafted. That didn't work so well. My fault. This might work a little bit better. I remembered to release him this time. And still basically nothing, though that chain reaction was fan-fucking-nominal. Even when released, you still... The boom lopes look like it works so well, though. I don't know, so it does and it doesn't work. Same deal, but this time the boom rats and the artillery shells, admittedly, are sent on the far end of the camp, and that's exactly what I had hoped would happen. As they run through, they get gunned down, so you just shoot them further than you'd think you would. And that works pretty well. You don't really need the artillery shells if you can take out the mortars. So... not a bad amount of damage for only 10 boom rats. The downside of doing this is you're gonna burn up everything, because if this is out in the wild, you've got the grass and the trees and all that, and the fire's gonna spread like hell, and probably burn any of the goodies that you would be getting. So... but would you need it? Because again, this is more of like a late game thing. And just for a bit of fun. Tortoises. Oh, that's a bit choppy. Oh, that's probably who's fucking it all up. Mr. Rocket Launcher Man. Well, good news, guys. Tortoises still always win.